welcome to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show, with me, Beanie Man, and Mo the Service Dog. And today I have a friend here, my friend Jennifer Harris, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I had to think for a second, it's like, sometimes names are all jumbled.
Right.
It's like, oh, I need to get that right. Maybe I should do cards or something. So anyway, so my friend Jennifer's here, she's an amazing artist. And yes, we met networking. But we're here today, and Jennifer would like to share her story, which I think is great, and talk about your why and all of these things. So it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to share your story.
Yeah, of course. So I had fallen out of love with my business years ago, and which I think a lot of people do, you know, creatives especially, like you get interested in something and then you're like, oh.
It's like, oh, let's try.
Yeah,
yes.
and you just lose interest in it. And so that had happened to me, and one of my friends had invited me to a conference out in California. That was a high performance conference to help you kind of figure out your why, figure out different productivity things that you could do
nice.
to make your life better.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in thinking business, right? And I was very closed off, and it was one of those conferences like you see like Tony Robbins conferences where everyone's
raw,
like,
raw.
Yeah,
and then you go home, it's like,
yeah, but you go there as like somebody who's not used to that kind of stuff, and you're just like, this is kind of weird.
Weirdos.
Yeah, and so that was, you know, it was different, and it took me a little while to warm up, and because I was looking at it so focused on the business, I didn't really allow myself to open up to other things until the very end, and they would have.
But good for you for at the end. Still
yeah.
getting it. It's like, wait a minute. You know, that aha thing.
Right.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, there's more.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and for me, it was the question, I think, in one of our breakout sessions was, if you didn't have money as an issue, what would be something that you would do? And why? And so, you know, one of the girls was a coach, and I assumed that she was going to talk about business stuff. She didn't. She talked about personal stuff.
How dare she?
And I was like, wait a minute. Why am I so focused on business stuff? Like, why am I not looking at what really is my why? Mm-hmm. And so her saying what she had said, it kind of made me think. And then the very last breakout session, you know, an hour or so later, I kind of realized that my why has always been to travel. And it's not just because I want to travel for travel's sake. It's really because I want to experience people. I want to experience cultures. Right. I want to see things. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to help people along the way, you know, whether it's business or personal or whatever. I love helping people and sharing what I'm passionate about and stuff. So the conference ended, and then I had another conference 10 days after that, and I decided to stay out in California. I'd never been there, so I decided to stay out there. And it wound up being that the whole trip was like 3 weeks, and it was just a self-discovery journey. And I came back, and I made some big changes in my life, which were for the good. And then I decided that I was going to travel more.
Nice. And so guys, real quick, change is good. Don't be afraid of change.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're not happy where you're at, okay, it's much better to take that leap of faith and go towards what you want and make those changes. And yes, they can be scary.
Oh, yeah. Well, anything worthwhile is scary.
Right, exactly. So it's like, you know, but we're so like, and that fear thing. Fear is a liar. Fear is a four-letter word. It has zero value except the value you give it. So change is good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yes. And so one of the ladies that I met in the last breakout session actually lived in Iceland, and she had an Airbnb. And she had told me, because I said my why was travel, and she said, well, you can come stay with me whenever you want for free. And I'm like, don't tell me that and not mean it.
Oh, you're my new best friend.
And she said, no, I mean it. Here's my information. And so, you know, I'd come back from the conference. I had holiday season after that. And then in January, I contacted her and said, were you serious? Because I'd really like to go ahead and book my flight. And so she said yes. So I booked that flight. And then I also had an opportunity to go to China last year. So I went to China. And
I saw that. So I'm like one of her Facebook stalkers, and I'm like, this is so cool, and I'm so happy for her. And I'm like, of course you can't hear it, but maybe you can feel the vibes that are like, yeah, you go, girl. This is so awesome.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's funny because people have been assuming, you know, when they see me travel, they're like, oh, your business must be doing amazingly well. And I'm like, actually, it's not. But that's not my focus. You know, I'm doing my business and it's not, you know, going horribly, but I'm doing it in order to live my life how I want to live it. And so I think that makes a big difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. I mean, if you do what you love, and, you know, I mean, you know a little bit of my story too. I mean, I should myself up until last year when I stepped into me and started doing what I love, and I totally get that. It's like, if you do what you love, the rest will follow. It will follow, and that is just, so it's like, because we're so focused on, oh man, I have to make money, because yeah, I mean, we have bills and everything, but believe and trust that it's coming, but focus on what's really important to you, and what's really important really is people.
And making a difference.
And making a difference.
And you're in yourself, but as well as others.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, you have to make it in you first, because, you know, again, I talk about it, that full cup, you know, whatever's in your cup comes out.
Yeah.
So you have to fill your cup first before you can share with others. So, yeah.
So on the China trip, it was a really good trip. There's a lot of different things that I experienced there, but I will say one of the most life-changing things for me was actually on the flight back. They had a movie playing that I watched, and one of the parts in the movie talked about the girl saying to the universe, or whatever you want to call higher being, thank you more please, for I'm grateful. Because she wanted to.
Oh, I have chills.
Because she wanted to make sure that she expressed to the universe that anytime anything good happened, that she was grateful for it. So I started saying gratitudes every night before bed.
And gratitude is so, and I talk about gratitude, it's like always come from a place of love and gratitude. It makes all the difference.
And you know, honestly, I'm even grateful in the moments that are stressful, that are bad, because you're going to learn something from it.
Yes.
So, you know, I had something happen to me early this year that wasn't that great. And although I was angry and frustrated at the moment, I'm still grateful for it, because that incident will hopefully bring help to somebody else in the future. So I have a better understanding of what somebody else has gone through.
And it will.
Yeah.
It will. It definitely will, because it's like there's always somebody else out there that's going through something similar, the same.
And they feel like they're the only one.
Exactly. I mean, I was there, you were there. You know, I mean, it's like, but then hearing from somebody, it's like, oh. And then watching, it's like, oh my God, so if they've been there, now here, wow, there is hope. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not ever alone. There's somebody else out there. And you know, and I find it very therapeutic sharing the story, sharing my story. It's therapeutic. It helps me because I know it will help somebody else. Right? So it will definitely help somebody.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, you know, I've grown a lot in the last 2 years. You know, and this year my travel is really business focused for the most part, which is okay. You know, I'm just doing different types of traveling. I am still traveling. And then I also, you know, came to the conclusion that I personally want to be mobile with my business. And so my next goal is to be able to be on the road and do different conventions and stuff like that with either my engraving or my body art. And you've seen my body art stuff.
Oh my gosh, guys, I'm going to post her Facebook page at the end. I was just sitting there going, oh.
People are saying, so it's so cute, because some other henna artists too, are saying that, you know, you must have sold your soul to get this talent. I'm like, actually I haven't, but I've been given the opportunity to collaborate with some amazing people, and the two that I've done already, and I'm doing another one next week, is it's just even better, because it opens the door for other people to come in and say,
absolutely.
can we collaborate with you as well? And, you know, it feeds my soul, because it allows me to do things that I don't normally get to do.
Plus it also, it helps you on the creative side, you know, because when you're creative, and I know there's a lot of you out there, you need to have an outlet, but it sometimes it gets so pushed on the back burner, you know, that we forget it, and
or it's just work-based, you know, so a lot of the stuff that I do tends to be like, oh, I want this, I want that, that's great, but what about what I want to do, you know? And even then, when I get the liberty to do what I want to do on people in henna-wise, like a lot of it's just small. You know, I get whole bodies to work with right now, which is amazing.
And your work is just amazing. I love what you did for the bride. You did a bride. I think you did her back.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it was it because it the way it worked. And if I remember, maybe it was a dream. I don't know. But I mean, it was just. I'm in awe. I look at it and you know, and I'm one of those people. I zoom in on the details sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh. I'm just like, whoa.
Right.
This is so incredible.
And it's fun. It makes me happy.
I can tell. I can tell because
Stretching and
it's just the way
growing.
you talk about it, when on your posts and everything. I can feel the happy.
Mhm.
I can totally feel the happy energy, the vibration, and it's like, I think this is what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
You know, where I don't know, but I have this gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's
So-
part of the goal with being on the road. You know, with the engraving part, doing Comic-Cons and stuff like that is really nice because I get to see people who love my stuff with that too.
Mhm.
You know, when you work from home, which some of your audience might, it's difficult because you're your own, you know, happy coach, you know.
Right.
Like, oh, you're doing such a great job, blah, 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 blah. But you don't get to see people's joy
Right,
when they
that's
receive
true.
your item or the person that they're giving it to.
So here's a quick thing, guys. If you order stuff online from artists, okay, take a picture with it.
Yeah.
With your smile, oh, I'm so happy to send it to that artist.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Send it to that artist, and it's huge.
Mhm.
It's huge. It goes so. I
Because
mean,
a
it's
lot of
such a
times
little
we tend
gesture.
to, you know, I tend to be a very positive person, but it always goes to happen that you look at and remember the negative reviews, the problem people.
Right.
You don't
But
really,
it's part of our conditioning
yeah,
too.
it's like you want to experience more of the happy, you know,
Absolutely.
and the joy and stuff like that. So when I do Comic-Cons and stuff, you know, I get to see those excitement and the
And
the
we love
reactions.
Comic-Cons because those are my fellow people. That's all my people.
Yeah, so I'll be
just
doing.
the inner nerd in me is like,
Yeah, so I'll be doing New Mexico Comic-Con next week.
oh, nice.
And then I'm doing Salt Lake Comic-Con the first weekend of September.
Awesome.
So I'm very excited about both of those. And then, you know, next year I plan on doing even more. So it's exciting. And, you know, I want to do like some music festivals with my body art and, you know, other
I can
things,
see that.
other things that I get invited to. So it's an exciting time.
It is, and it's just, you know, when you step into you, and into your purpose, and into your light, you know, out of your own shadow, into your light, the opportunities that come, and the people we meet, and the things we attract, I'm in awe every single day.
Right.
I am in awe. Actually, I posted something earlier about with the law of attraction, and for me stepping out of my shadow into my light. And if somebody would told me a few years ago, well, actually my friend Barbara did, you know, that I would be doing what I'm doing now, I would have laughed, and I would have laughed hard. And okay, she told me, and I laughed hard, and I told her no way.
Right.
Okay.
Manifesting's a real thing.
It is amazing,
And people don't tap into it nearly enough.
well, actually, the thing is, everybody taps into it. It's just not aware. Because what you think of, and I keep talking, I mean, I'm like broken records, like, duh, duh, you know, what you think about, you bring about. Whatever you put your thoughts and your awareness to and your emotions into, that's what you get. So if you're full of negative,
Right.
and you focus on the negative, and misery loves company,
Right.
but so does happiness, you know, but you get more at that level, and it gets harder and harder and harder to get out of
I'm
it.
a big proponent of making sure that you eliminate negative influence.
I'm with you.
Because you're the top 5. You are a accumulation of the top 5 people that you hang out with. And so if those
you hear that, guys?
if those people are negative,
And I know what you all know, because when I first heard that, like long ago, I'm like, oh, I'm in
Yeah.
big trouble.
yeah,
I'm in big trouble.
That
And,
was-
and the
that
other
was-
thing too
yeah.
is what I learned on that note too, is like, you do not want to be at the top in your group. Being at the
You wanna
top
be able
of
to
your
grow,
group
right.
is the most dangerous place to be, because you have no room to grow.
right.
I like being like towards the bottom, and with people that help me, lift me up and grow, you know. And I change people all the time because I grow. Some of them grow with me. Most people don't.
Right. Because they're
Most
scared.
peop- right. And I don't know about you, but for me, for a long time, because I mean, I had all those self-doubt and the, you know, all those limiting beliefs in my head. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I losing my friends?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because one of my friends, she does these guided things with people to help them find their superpowers. And superpowers meaning like what you're innately good at, right?
Your gift.
Yeah, and so she did it with me, and my three things were: I'm a catalyst for change, which I'm sure all these things you'll be like, yes. Like if you're in my vicinity for a decent amount of time, these things happen. So I'm a catalyst for change because I'm a doer. I'm not just a talker. I'm a boundary pusher.
No.
Yes.
No.
So I push people's boundaries, and people will go away because of that. You're probably like that too.
Oh, absolutely. Because people are scared. Because again, change.
Right.
And taking that self-inventory and really dealing with our inner demons. That's scary.
Right.
That is so scary. And for me, and I'm sure for you too, I mean, being honest and really confronting those demons. Man, I had so many cry sessions and just cried it out, and I mean, yelling at them, screaming at them, and it's like, wow. And they're deep and they go far, and oh my goodness, but it is so powerful to first of all, you got to be aware, and you have to take responsibility.
Right.
You know, for you, because that's the only person you can take responsibility for. You are responsible for you, for your actions, for your thoughts, for your everything.
Right.
You know, so wow.
Yeah,
boundaries.
Boundary.
What's a boundary anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. So I push people's boundaries, and then the one that I thought was funny, like funny weird, not funny haha, was that she said that I loved people, and I'm like, I don't love just people. And the more I've thought about it since that session, which was probably about 6 months or so ago, and I've realized that I do love people. It might not be that I love them for an extended period of time. It could be that just this moment that I have with them, that I care deeply about that person and what they're going through, and I ask the questions that need to get asked and stuff like that. So it's a momentary love and compassion for somebody. And then, of course, people who are an integral part of my life, I care deeply and love them deeply. And to the point of, self-sacrifice and stuff like that. But, I don't have a big friend base. I don't have a big family base and stuff like that. But those people that are in my life, I care about. And those people that even come in for, a moment in time,
right. It's so funny. So I'm listening to you, and it's like looking in a mirror. It is so, we're so much alike. And I had no idea. I really had no idea until right now.
Right.
It was like, that's why we connect. That's why we're tribe members, because I'm the same way. But for me, I took the love for people. I was the same way. And I say I was because I came to the conclusion that I actually do love everybody. And I love everybody on a deep level. Because we're all connected, and we're all part of each other. However, I don't like everybody.
True.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that, to me, that helped me because I was like, there's people that don't mean you well. I still love them, but I don't like them. It doesn't mean I have to have them in my life. So, and once I decided that for me, I don't know, something just shifted even more. I can't explain. I really can't explain it. It's just like, this is so cool. But yeah, I'm with you. It's like boundary. What's a boundary?
Right.
And also people like, it's like, what's a box? What's a comfort zone?
Right.
I'm
so open with my life and who I am for the most part. Obviously, social media, I limit things. But people who are in my life know I have no problem talking about stuff.
Right.
And I think so many people close so many parts of themselves off because of shame or insecurity or frustration or whatever.
Well, and sometimes, I know how it was for me too. It's just I didn't want to deal with the pain. I didn't want to deal with that because then it means I have to take responsibility. I have to do something about it.
Right.
Instead of, I was like, if I ignore it, maybe it'll go away. Or it's not going away.
Or two, I think people just they get comfortable in their routines, you know, and so boundary.
We call them the settlers. Remember the commercial, the settlers?
Yeah. So when I start pushing boundaries, asking why, what if you did this? What if you did that? You don't really want to change anything, really. You don't
Right.
want to be happier?
Mm.
You don't want to feel more
Well,
fulfilled?
you know, and it's so funny when you say you don't want to be happy, because you know me, I'm all about the happy. And I get people and they tell me they want this, that, and the other,
but they won't do anything about it.
they don't want to do anything about it. So to me, you don't really want it.
Right.
You know, it's like I will work with everybody
Mm-hmm.
that is ready and willing. If you're still stuck in victimhood and you take advantage of all the benefits that come with victimhood, I'm not your person.
Right.
I'm not your person,
I'm
because
not either.
I'll be in, I know, right? I'll be
I
like,
don't want to hear excuses.
I know, right? And I'll be like,
no, I get really angry with
I
that.
get your life really is not that great. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And are you willing to do something about it?
Right.
And people are like, oh, like I have to do something?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, uh-huh.
Well, and that's why, again, you don't want to surround yourself with people who are like that.
Right.
Because, you know, if you do even have an inkling that you want to change,
Do it.
if you're around people who don't facilitate and help and encourage that,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not going to happen.
Right. And
Because those other people are just
Right.
going to continue to drag you down.
Right. And you know, you need to understand too, the people that don't want you to succeed, they don't necessarily do it on a conscious level, and that's not malicious or anything, but they're coming from their own set of fears.
Right.
And their own limiting beliefs
It's
and their own
projected.
limitation. And it's because I'd always say too, the reflection without is a reflection from within. You know, and we see the world through our own filter.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have limiting beliefs, if we don't believe we can't do it, and
Right.
you know, then we tell other people because we want to protect them
Right.
and help them.
Right.
In our mind,
be
we do.
realistic.
Be realistic, exactly. But it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
Right.
You know, so it's like, and I got to this point now, and I actually told one of my coaches because where I'm gonna take my Matters of Perspective business, and he didn't quite get my vision at first, and I told him, and I said, and I have people who's like, well, somebody's already doing this, and I look at them, and I looked at him, and I look at everybody else, and I said, you know, I appreciate your concern, but I don't want to hear why it can't be done. I don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. I need people that help me figure out how it can be done. If this is you, great.
Right.
If this is not you, great. Who do you know?
Right.
That's how I'm at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a long time to get there because, you know, we're all afraid of the rejection and, well, but they have been doing it longer than me, so they know better and everything. No, they don't. They don't know me. They don't know
Right.
my core. I know my core.
Right.
You know, and once we decide, as like, this is where I'm going. I mean, I don't know exactly how I'm getting there. I don't know exactly when, what, who, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know. I know the direction.
Mm-hmm.
And when we know the direction, it's like, watch me go.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, you want to come with me? Cool. Let's work together.
Yeah.
You're not getting it? I'm sorry. Love you.
Right.
And I mean, and it sounds harsh, and it sounds cold,
Somebody had written recently
but you
about,
really need to do that.
if I'm not your heck yes, then I'm your no thanks.
Ooh, I like. Most like, what? That one came up. That's cute. I like that.
Yes. And so it's like one of those things that if somebody is not excited to be around you and with you and on your journey, no thanks. I want people who are excited,
Mm-hmm.
who share my passion. They might not share my exact vision, obviously.
And that's okay.
That's okay, but if they share a passion and a lust for life and, you know, a desire to make those
Grow.
changes and grow, then yeah, that's
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it makes all the difference.
amazing.
It makes all the difference. And I noticed, so when I first started last year, it was a little rocky and, you know, okay, really the first 2 weeks. Because I was like, oh, I want to do coaching. So I was like, I'm going to put coaching package, but nothing flowed.
Right.
But I also didn't reach out for help.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And that's hard.
And it's
That's
hard.
hard for people like us who are go-getters and we're
Right.
doers.
Mhm.
And we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you want it done a certain way that's in your head
Oh, yeah.
and all the things.
Oh yeah. So I'm getting better, asking for help. But I was like, so what? So I went and meditated, and I sat down and I had a conversation with the universe. You know, it doesn't matter if you call it God, whatever. I mean,
Right.
the mechanics are the same.
Right.
The mechanics really are the same. So I had this conversation. I said, you know, you put me on this path well, I put me on that path, but you nudged, well, okay, didn't nudge me, hit me with a 2x4, but that's a different story, you know. So, but now it's not moving. What the heck? What the fire truck? You know, and it's like, if you want me to move forward, give me the messages. And then it came loud and clear. It's like, I gave you the messages. Whap. So within those 2 weeks, I got the message loud and clear. I just didn't listen.
Right.
Random people that didn't, I mean, I've been talking about writing a book like years ago, but random people kept asking me about my book. What book? And the book kept coming up, and so you're writing a book? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So when I was meditating, I was screaming out to the universe. Again, the universe said, whap!
I've been telling you to write a freaking book.
I know. And I said, fine. You want me to write the flippin' book? Give it to me.
Right.
And the universe said, as
There you
you
go.
wish.
Yeah.
Because that's how that works. And so I wrote and published my book in under 3 months.
Nice.
And I gave myself 6 weeks to write it. I did not write every day. So if you put the days together that I wrote the book in a week and a half. And every time I sat down, I poured out a chapter. But I didn't, and here's the interesting part. I didn't know what I was writing until it was done and I read it. Isn't that weird?
It is, but it's not that unusual because I
right.
write things too, and then I go back and I'm like, oh, that was really good. Like,
I know, right?
I'm like, did I really write that?
So
yeah,
and a lot of times, and some of you have heard me say that I'm just a channel. Even though I share about my story, but I share my story not for you to feel sorry for me, because that's ew, yuck. I don't want that. I share my story to let you know that's like, yeah, stuff happens, and this is what I have done to get me where I am today, and so it turned into a workbook. Who knew?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but you just put it out there. You just put it out there, and then you don't worry about the details. If you try to micromanage, guys, let me tell you, it's like buying one lottery ticket and expecting to win. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Because,
We're expecting to win the lottery without buying anything at all.
oh yeah, well there's that.
I mean, that's one of my biggest frustrations with people in the manifesting community is that they're not putting the work behind things, and it's like, that's not how this works.
Right.
You have to put the effort in. You can't, I mean, sure, it could, I'm not going to say it couldn't ever happen, but
and it happens every so
the
often.
likelihood of it happening really on a normal basis for you, you know, is slim.
Right, but here's the thing. Even for the ones that what it looks like it happens, it just happens. Newsflash: it doesn't just happen. It does not just happen. They're just better at the manifesting and listening and taking the inspired action. And that's really all that is. Take inspired action. Whatever comes through, take inspired action. And trust, because the universe or your source, God, again, it doesn't matter what you call it, has your very best interest at heart. It wants what's best for you. You know, it's just, we are so conditioned to be in the negative, be on autopilot, and expect everything to come exactly as we want it with a big red bow on it. That's not how that works.
I personally, when it comes to, you know, the whole negative aspect of the world, you know, I try to limit those type of people, but I also don't watch the news. Honestly, I have no clue what's going on, and maybe that makes me not a great person because I should be aware, but honestly, it makes me happy to be in my little bubble of unawareness because, I don't need, the world in general is a negative place, unfortunately, and, you know, we get sucked into all the things.
I call it the vortex.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't need that, you know, I've got a lot of stuff that I want to focus on, and that's what I'll focus on.
And you know, and I agree with you, I totally limit the news. You know, I still kind of like, because what I do is I just in love and light to whatever, you know, and it's like this, but I think for me, because I had so much dark, I tried to totally ignore the dark and just focus on the light. But you cannot enjoy the light without knowing the dark.
Right.
You know, but I mean, everybody has to do what works for them. But the thing, and to people's like, I have people's like, well, you can't change the world. Yes, I can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, because I may not be able to change the whole world, but I can change the world around me. And those ripple effects, those seeds that we're planting in people, you don't know how far that goes.
It's very true. I mean, this world is really small at the end of the day.
Oh, I have chills.
I mean, because I was at the Great Wall of China and I met people from Colorado. How weird is that?
It's not.
You know, I was at, I went to a henna conference last year and I wound up meeting a girl randomly who was there as well that I just didn't meet in person. And it's just like, what? You know, things happen that, you know, you get put into situations where, yeah, the world is really small.
It's
those
tiny.
moments that you affect other people can make a huge change.
It is, and you will never, ever know how far you reach. You will never know.
I think it'd be really cool if the afterlife was like, because I don't really think about a lot of that stuff anymore, but I think it'd be really cool if at some point you could see those changes.
I think you will. I think you will.
That'd be really neat.
I think you will. And you know, it's nice because so we you know, military and everything we do, we know we touch people, whether it's positive, negative. You always influence people, and they will remember you for this, that, or the other. And to me, it's really interesting, especially with the military, because I mean, I think the world is small. Try military life. It's like. And it's so neat to hear from people after years, and you haven't even thought about them for decades even.
Right.
And all of a sudden they reach out, and they're telling you, thank you so much. And I go, okay, what the heck for? I don't have a clue. Because it's like, I was in a really dark place back then, but I always help people be better, be more, and smile, you know. And it's like, you really made a huge impact on me. What you said to me was huge. And I don't know, they're like, do you remember what you said? And I'm like, and a lot of times I had to tell them, it's like, you know, I really I don't even really remember you.
Right.
And I'm honest about it. I know that's not what they want to hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, but again, we don't know.
Right.
And we may never, ever, ever find out, because here's the thing. It's like, I might do something for this one person. It may not do anything for that person in that moment, but whatever I said, they might share it with somebody else, and then with and we don't know.
Right.
You know, it's like, I always use that example with that, you know, the patient zero in an outbreak. You know, when we watch it on the movies and stuff, when they have like these epidemics and everything, it starts with one.
It's true.
It starts with one. Okay? Be that one. And change.
Be that virus.
No, don't be that. Be the happy virus. No, don't be that virus, but be that one person to make the difference for the good.
Yeah.
Be that one person. Okay, but think about how that outbreak thing. You know, use that to help you. I mean, if you're a visual person, visualize that.
Yeah.
But you are that one person that makes a difference for a gazillion people, and that is like. So make it a good one.
Right.
Like, oh. Yeah. And you know, sometimes, and since we're very much alike, sometimes we have conversations, and then I go back into my head, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I offended them.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm building up this what if down scenario in my head, which I tell people don't do that, do the what if up, but I do this, and then I feel guilty. So I reach out to the person and I apologize, and then it was nothing.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You know, we make things a lot of times way bigger in our heads.
Oh my gosh.
And
absolutely.
communication, I've been learning this year a lot that communication is so huge, and we don't do it well. We don't do it effectively.
We don't even do it well with ourselves. Remember that negative self-talk?
Yeah, so it's like, I am a huge proponent of communication, and you know, if somebody doesn't respond to a text in a timely fashion, we get freaked out. We're just like, oh my god, I knew they had their phone on them, you know, all these things.
It said it was delivered.
But you know, at the same time, we're not with them. We are not them. We don't know what's going on in their life.
Exactly.
You know, and so it's like, we can't assume things, you know, so give it time and then communicate. Say, hey, is everything all right? You know, there's so much with communication that we just don't utilize.
Absolutely, I agree. And you know,
and telling people what we want, what we expect, that's something else when you're dealing with people, whether it's for work or personal. You know, well, what do you expect to get from this?
Right.
You know, and knowing clearly what is expected and what is what would be desired as an
Right,
outcome.
right.
You know, we're just assuming on both sides, of all the sides, we have our own, and we're not communicating it.
The other thing too is like when you read a text message or an email or a post on Facebook and it gets you all wound up, stop. Stop. Okay? Because you're reading this email or this message through your filter.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever's going on within you,
Right.
if something happened and you haven't dealt with it, and
Right.
because you know, like maybe if I ignore it, it goes away or
Right.
whatever, you will read that message with a whole different tone.
Right.
Stop. If a message angers you, stop. Read it with a smile. Read it with love behind it. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
because it makes a big difference. Okay? Because that person that's writing it
Mm-hmm.
may have meant nothing bad. Might have
Right.
actually is like, hey, you know, might have actually been meant to be really good.
Right.
And if you would have been in a good frame of mind, it would have been good. But because you're not, now you're reading something into that.
Right.
That isn't there.
Right.
So in that case, reach out to the person, pick up the phone,
Right.
or send them messages like, hey, you know, blah blah blah. But take inventory first. Check out what's going on inside of you first.
Right.
Because if it's from you,
Well, and that's the big thing. It's funny that you said that because something like that happened to me and it caused me to end a relationship.
oh wow,
Because of their
sound familiar?
their projection of something that I posted. And I didn't get that reaction from anybody else from a post. But their reaction was so just crazy sided that I was like, you know what? I don't think I need this in my life anymore.
Good for you.
So that's done now.
Good for you.
You know, and it's like
It still hurts, but it's
Of
like
course, but it's like, you know, I've been supportive of all your things that I don't believe in or think the same of, and I don't judge you for it, you know, but yet this one post sets you off to that degree to say all these things that aren't very nice.
But you
And
know,
I just
it goes
don't need it.
right.
I don't
It goes
need
back to that cup, that full cup. We are that cup. What's inside your cup? Are you filled with happy and love, or are you filled with anger and hate?
Right.
Okay, because that one drop that has nothing to do with what's in your cup. So you have a glass full of wine,
Mm-hmm. And you
To
put
the
some vinegar in it.
and you put what?
Vinegar.
Put some vinegar in it. Now the glass overflows. But what comes out? That wine comes out. Has nothing to do with the vinegar,
Right.
because that's not what's in the cup.
Right.
You spill out what's inside of you. So if you're filled with negativity and anger, frustration and hate,
Right.
you know, and then things don't coincide with your filter,
Mm-hmm.
guess what?
Right.
And I think that's a lot why so many people lash out and we have that road rage and this, that, and all this other stuff that's happening. It's because the wrong stuff is in the cup.
Right.
Fill it with love, gratitude, and kindness, and all the good things. You know, I mean, stuff happens to both of us.
Right.
But now we're not going in deep depression anymore, and
Right.
we're not, oh my God, what am I going to do when I... No.
Right.
No. Been there, done that. Did nothing.
Right.
It just made it worse.
Right.
You know, now it's like, man, this bites. Well, there was a lesson here. Figure out the lesson. Be grateful for the experience.
Right.
Move on.
Right.
It's really not that hard.
And I think for me, ending each day as I go to sleep with gratitude, I think really sets me up for, you know, a good night's sleep, and
Yep.
then also to start the day off the next day well.
Mhm.
You know, I think we just as a society as well forget to be grateful in general.
Right.
You know, whether
I
it's in
agree.
the moment or at the end of the day, beginning of the day, whatever. And I highly encourage people to start saying at least 3 gratitudes a day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I tend to fall asleep saying them. So, you know, I mean, most people will have, you know, a roof over their head of some kind, fresh food and fresh water. So if nothing else,
Right.
that's typically a good starting point. Obviously, if you don't have those things, then, you know, you have to be grateful for
Well, I mean, if
other
you're laying
things,
in your
but
bed, be grateful for your bed.
Right.
And for the people that made it, and for
the air and
for the air and the wood and
I mean,
the,
there's just,
I mean,
it's countless.
I mean,
you know,
you
it's
can
countless.
snowball it. I mean, if you have a car, Be grateful for the car. Be grateful for the people that put the car together. Be grateful for the factory.
All the things.
And for the people that built the factory. You know,
Yeah.
be grateful for the resources that Mother Earth provided. And I mean, it's just that it snowballs.
It does.
And it's like, but you have to have that mindset.
Right.
You know, but once you have the awareness and you have that mindset, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And take note of that. You know, write it in a journal and start right now. You know, and take inventory. Where am I right now? Where do I want to go? And then start that gratitude.
Yeah. And,
It's
and just in the moment
huge.
too, like the other day I wasn't having a great day, and I was driving to something, and the mountains just looked stunning. Like it looked like it was from a movie, like the clouds and the mistiness and the sun coming just right through, and I'm just like, I'm in tears, because I was just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
So
and it's like,
I'm so grateful that
I
I'm
know.
going to see this right now.
Exactly. It's, I
Yeah.
mean, it's those things, but we take it so for granted
We do.
because, again, that's part of what's ingrained and that's what we're bombarded with. And it's like, you just need to stop and really disrupt the pattern and make a decision, make the choice, and just be happy.
And
And
that's you just said a very important thing. That was one of the things that my therapist had talked to me about when I was going to therapy, was disrupting the pattern, because we have that automatic click in our head to react a certain
it's
way.
that hamster wheel.
Yeah, and so we react a certain way, and so therefore the same outcome happens. But if we change one thing in that reaction, then it can disrupt and make the changes necessary.
Right. Because here's the thing, the definition of insanity.
Right.
Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Right, exactly.
You gotta do, if you want something different, you have to do something different. If you want things to change, you have to change.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right.
It's really not rocket science.
Right.
So, but anyway, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here.
Of course.
And who knew we're sisters? This is so cool. I love that. No, but thank you so much for
Yes. sharing.
And I mean, I loved you before, I love you even more, and I like you, how about that? It's like, great, you love me, how about like me? Yeah. No, but this is awesome, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, be happy, be kind, be loved, have a great day, and make great things happen. Bye.